Kandepwe, also known as Aka. Again, I still think that one of my favorite things is the introduction, and I'm trying to figure out how best to have a better introduction, but still very much attached to this one. Today's guest is a youth advocate and community leader, passionate about creating change at grassroots level. Through his work in youth engagement and human rights education, he is focused on empowering young people and raising awareness around social issues in his community. I have worked with this particular person a few years ago when I was still in advocacy work, and it's amazing to see how far he has come. And I think that I will always be passionate about advocacy work because I know what it does for young people. Yeah, so I'm very excited about this conversation, and I hope you enjoy it. Today's guest is Matthew Lungu. Hi, Matthew.
Hi, Aka. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And thank you so much for having me on this platform. It's an important platform to share quite a number of issues, and well done for setting it up.
Thank you so much. Like I mentioned in my introduction, I have worked with you actually. And I didn't know it was you because
Oh.
yeah, I didn't know it was you until I had to do like the last track of due diligence, and I was like, guys, I know this person. You've been doing community work for a while.
Yeah.
When you look back to your childhood or early days, what inspired you to get into the work you're doing now?
Okay, great. Yeah. So, first and foremost, the upbringing of any person, I think it does have some form of influence on where they end up in life. So I've been brought up from a family where there was a total discipline, military issues and all those things. Yeah, so you get to be shaped in a way that prepares you for the future. By that I mean, from an early age, you are taught how to take care of yourself, for starters, how to take care of people around you, starting with your family by, of course, looking at quite a number of family responsibilities that fit your age. But again, they are also preparing you for the near future. So what that means is if you're given an assignment or a task to do, they will even tell you to say, when you clean this, you have to make sure that the community is also clean wherever you are. You have to be a clean person. You have to do all those things that benefit not only you, but even the people around you or the systems that are built around you. So discipline is something that is instilled at an early stage, especially if the guardians or parents are committed to the child's well-being, development, and growth in general. So growth in this case can also mean the spiritual growth, the physical growth, the emotional growth, and so on and so forth. So my childhood has been an interesting setup from an early age, where some of the key societal principles, especially when it comes to social benefit, are taught at an early stage. So reflecting on that, I think these are values that I have never put down or neglected, but over time I have perfected them, of course, with a few challenges here and there. So that's my childhood that has contributed in a way or bigger way to the works that I've done in the recent past, the works that I'm doing, and works that I intend on doing.
I have to agree with you. I think childhood and upbringing is very important, and especially if your parents were in the military or service. My grandfather was in service, and now I still talk about a few fundamental stuff that I do or I experience or showcase to other people because of that upbringing. And people would be like, no, I think that's how you are. And I'm like, no, darling. No. It's just how I was raised. For example, I have my uncle, he's in military. I have a few people in service, and my grandfather was also in service. And when I was growing up, there was this rule that when you see people, you always have to greet them. Like before you interact with people, you always have to greet them. That there's just a certain way you communicate to people. And in high school, everybody was like, you're always greeting everybody. And I'm like, because at my house, we always greet everybody. But when I asked we always greet each other. Like when I asked my young uncle at the time, when he joined service, he said, well, one of the reasons why we greet each other is to gauge somebody's mood. And I was like, I've never thought about it. I just thought my grandfather liked greeting all of us in the morning. And then we intended to learn to greet people outside our household and I was like, true. So even now, it's like one element that someone would be like, it's not important. Like, but I'm like, trust me, when you get to greet somebody, you get to gauge the mood, you get to gauge what you can ask and not ask, and you get to see if it's the right time or not. So upbringing is like one important element that I agree to, and it makes a lot of sense when I look at your work and everything you've achieved.
Yeah, that's very, very true, and it's an important aspect of our life that we should really, really observe with great attention. And I think that also gives us an opportunity for us to reflect on our future plans for our children if we are in that space. Yeah, and not only our children, but even siblings and the people around us. We need to preserve that teaching or that culture that has had an impact on us for the greater good of humanity and society, including ourselves. So we need to really keep the faith and keep the tradition rolling. So I definitely agree with you, and we keep moving forward.
I believe that too. What was a specific experience that motivated to take action? And let's just get in detail about your community work and the type of work that you do.
All right. It's something that was not built overnight, a process. Yeah, some ideas have fallen off in the bid to improve the status quo in the community. Some ideas have remained as key principles to advancing social change. So, when you are identifying a social problem, at first it sounds insane. At first it's something that is maybe, let's say, over your shoulders. It's something that people can look at and advise you to say, this, what you're about to do, is not so much of a good idea. You need resources, you need people, you need a lot of things, you need the knowledge, So at this stage where you're at, you may not really achieve this. It will take you a number of years. So what keeps of course, popping up on my mind was you get to ask a question to say, so how long do you think it can take me to get to a point where I feel we should get? So my interest in community service and social change, even now, it begins with a question. What is it that I can do? What is it that my services or my skills can contribute to the well-being of mankind or society? How best can I use this influence to also do some sort of skills transfer to the next person? Because I do know that we've got a limited time on earth, and the skills we have acquired, the wealth we have acquired over time. In the near future, we have to let go of that. That is just life by design. So you have to make sure that the kind of work, the kind of systems you are building, the kind of wealth you are accumulating, the kind of influence you are having should stand a test of time. So having thought about all those kind of questions and issues and clear direction, the first thing that came to mind, or the first step that I had taken towards my participation in community service, was just to enroll for uni. You know, I knew that the kind of people that I wasn't as active as I am right now. Way back in secondary school and uni, the journey starts. So I knew that the kind of skill set, the kind of influence, the kind of people, the kind of a team that I needed to build to contribute to society wellness was the people that are already doing something in uni. So the first thing, my aunt always had this dream of establishing an orphanage, you know, just to take care of the less privileged, vulnerable people in society. She nearly succeeded. Way back somewhere in 2004, we could see her bringing, friends over, writing applications to international agencies to just ask for clothes, to ask for food, to ask for shelter for these orphans or vulnerable children. So that spirit, was somewhat transferred to me and to the people that are around, where you are told to say your family is just not your nuclear family, your immediate family, but your family is everyone around, because I may help them today, I may not be there tomorrow, but they will be able to help another person, including yourself. So you may find that growing up, we were taught that principle. So even when I transitioned to uni, I was like, can I have people that are passionate about child protection, for instance, that are passionate about community service or humanitarian aid? Then I found that at least a good number of people came forward, and we organized ourselves, approached the dean of students to establish a club that just promotes student participation in community service, specifically charity programs. Pitched the idea to the vice chancellor, and he was okay with it. The dean of students signed it off. At first, we used to call it the CUZ Visionaries. By CUZ, that is the Cavendish University Visionaries. That was in 2015. So as time progressed, we integrated that idea into the Scripture Union. In this case, we used to call the Christian Fellowship of Cavendish University in 2016 all the way to 2018. So we did some amazing stuff. The model proved to work very well, and we stayed, instead of just limiting it to Cavendish University, and we were nearing our exit in uni. So we said, guys, let's do something. Let's go beyond this boundary. Let's have this institution registered as a non-government organization. That will save the community as well, because we do believe that students are everywhere, learners are everywhere. So if we can transfer this idea to other learning institutions or universities, or make a call to action, to invite people to join our institution, not just to be confined to one institution, it would be a great idea. But again, it will not make so much sense if it maintains a certain name. You know how it is, people and names. So let's rebrand. So in July 2018, we had our AGM. We talked about a number of things and how we were transitioning. We informed the dean of students, the VC, and everyone that was involved to say, no, we're now branching off, but that doesn't mean that the students from this institution will be excluded. They will be forever be founding members, but also we are including other students. So in August, at Cavendish University itself, it should be the 18th or the 17th of August 2018, we had our official launch at Cavendish, that is the Great North Campus. We had our official launch, we had a number of big people coming through to speak, and that proved our theory correctly. You know, we wanted to invite external people to be on board, and they came, and they pledged their support throughout the transition. And they supported us. You know, we had public policy specialists, we had HR consultants, and other experts speaking to a number of cross-cutting issues. So we launched in August 2018, and we made a bold step to apply. That is in December 2018, we applied to the Ministry of Community Development, because that was our government-led ministry that was near our areas of interest. So the Department of Registrar for NGOs did accept our application, and in 2019 we had a certificate issued, duly registered non-government organization in Zambia under the Ministry of Community Development. And that's where the weightlifting, heavy lifting began, because now the scope had been expanded. We are now just not looking at providing social accountability services or holding the government accountable for their actions, but we are now key players in driving sustainable change. So what that meant was we needed to define our modus operandi. We wanted to, on the left side of things, we hold government accountable, but this time around, not confrontational. This time around, it has to be round table sort of advocacy or discussions, but at the same time, we are keeping them in check. Then on this other hand, you needed to be more on the service provision, supplementing government's effort in driving sustainable change for the nation. So your approach changes. That also means the composition of your team members has to change. Your entire organogram has to change. And that's how we reorganized ourselves again and redefined our mandate. So from CUZ Visionaries to now Visionary Students Initiative. So Visionary Students, the very first part of the name itself is what gives us direction, because the people we are developing, or our direction is to develop visionary students. You know, students that are solutions focused, students that are looking at society as their home ground, students that are looking at the next person as a family member, you know, in terms of providing some sort of support or care, or just the way they go about their lives. You know, so that is the build up to what is now called a national Visionary Student Initiative platform that now is involved actively in a number of activities at national level, some of which I'll be able to highlight, but that is the journey of what our community service mandate looks like. Like I mentioned, over time, we have looked at a number of things, a number of changes, a number of people have joined, a number of people have left, you know. So, but what keeps us going is the direction that we have, the mandate, the responsibility to provide social services to the Zambian people, you know. So that is primarily it. And when we're looking at social problems, there are a number of problems. Zambia has got 1 billion times 10 problems. So we needed to be very specific about the kind of social problems that we are looking at. Like I mentioned at first, our primary problem was to bridge the gap between the rich and the poor. In this case, looking at the most vulnerable people, but at the same time, how best can we mobilize resources from the people that are from the well-to-do families to support the people that are struggling to make ends meet. So that is the primary purpose why we are established. Then the secondary purpose is to engage now in advocacy work. Remember when we talked about supplementing government's efforts in improving the lives of Zambians, and on this other hand to provide checks and balances through roundtable accountability or roundtable advocacy. That is also secondary to the primary work that we have convinced ourselves that, or mandated ourselves that we should do. So from the VSI lens, that's what community service looks like. Mobilize the rich, or mobilize the resources to take care of the less fortunate in our society, and supplement government's efforts in improving the lives of people, at the same time promoting roundtable advocacy.
What I like about this breakdown is that you have actually also explained to me and us how you were very flexible in building your vision, and it wasn't a me thing, it was a collective decision. Yes, you saw the gaps and you mobilized people, and you were also flexible enough to say we wouldn't want to limit this to one institution, we want to include others. What are the other steps we want to take so we can include others? Now that we have included others, we would like to be an official organization that is recognized by government. You took so many steps, and to be honest, I remember that same time was when I wanted to build my own organization, and I was in talks with other acquaintances so we could do it together, and it was just not fitting right. And to be honest, the type of work that you do requires so much grace. We do not give all of you enough grace for the type of work that you do. And in terms of advocacy, because there's so many challenges that we'll speak on later on, but there's so many challenges one faces, and it was just great to learn about the breakdown and steps that you had to take to be where you are right now.
I'm happy to hear that, and you know how it is. We continue to grow and continue modifying as we monitor and evaluate what's working, what's not working, and yeah, we'll get there, and we're slowly getting there.
I think you are almost there.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah.
For you specifically, what made you focus on human rights, education, and community development?
Okay, as you know, no man is an island, and for me to realize what I needed to be, or what I needed to unlock to get to a place where I needed to be, I needed people. I needed to position myself. I needed systems that can help me to achieve everything that I ever wanted. So I'm driven by this spirit of unlocking the great in the next person to advance my personal growth. By that I mean is, if I am able to advocate for or promote, or advocating for the promotion and protection of human rights and community development, indirectly what I'm doing is I am creating a platform, a conducive environment for my skill set to thrive or to be made useful. I'm into communications, and later on I advanced to public administration, specifically public policy. So if I have to be successful in my field, in my profession, there should be a conducive working or professional environment, or just general environment. But I cannot do that if there's no one doing anything about it. So what should I do now to make sure that I succeed in my line of duty? I need to make deliberate steps, like I earlier explained, in the space of community development or community service. If I know that I, at some point in the near future, will have to build a university, so spoiler alert, VSI will soon become a higher learning institution, and we're just looking at the next 3 to 4 years. But we are also having some plans of establishing, which of course started in 2019, establishing what we are calling the VSI Academy, the Leadership Excellence Platform. This year you'll see something flying, not maybe even before July ends, but something will start flying. So for me to get to that point, as almost an end result, I needed to create a conducive environment. You see, so to me, it will bring about personal satisfaction that I recognized a challenge and I took a step to addressing that challenge. But at the same time, I recognized an opportunity upon which my profession would thrive. Yeah, and I'm also not looking at just my personal benefit, immediate benefit. I'm also looking at how this can spill over to my siblings, how this can spill over to my children, how this can spill over to my the people that I care about. So when I'm making certain decisions about influencing positive policy direction, I'm also looking at it from 2 angles. I'm looking at it from public interest or public good side of things. I'm also looking at it from personal interest. What do I have? What do I stand to gain after this move is successful? Then I'll break down the kind of benefits that I would like to realize at the end of the day, personal benefits. Then I'll also break down the public good or public interest benefits, societal benefits or social benefits. I'll break them down. And you know how it goes when it comes to public policy or anything that has to do with community development or just managing people, dealing with people or society. To each and every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So, meaning if you can list 20 benefits, there are potential 20 costs to that, opportunity costs. So, at planning stage, you need to also list. I think in the theory of change, you call those assumptions. You have to assume that whatever you are doing, if you approach government to give you funding or to give you land to build that university, the positive outcome would be they would say yes. The negative outcome, they would say no. But when they say no, what kind of a no are you going to take? Are you just going to take a no for a no? Or are you going to ask them to give you other investors or other people that have, or a recommendation letter to people that have got dormant land that you can utilize, and they can give you some form of incentives to that effect? What is it that they can do beyond their no? So that spirit is what I have perfected over time. If they say yes, they say yes. Now, what is it that you now need to clarify their role? So when you have such a system built before you make any decision, it saves people a lot of time. It saves you a lot of time. And it also gives you clear direction. So that is the kind of model that I use when I'm looking at decision making. So I look at societal benefits and costs, personal benefits and costs. Then before the decision is made, you need to weigh. For this move, will my benefits or will the benefits outweigh the costs? If the benefits outweigh the costs, then that's okay. Remember, we don't make decision to maximize on the costs or to maximize on the risks. No, we make decision to ensure that the benefits always outweigh the costs. An example to that effect is if we create an orphanage, or if we build an orphanage, which the benefits are up to 60%, but the risk to the children or to the environment itself is about 80%. Do you now have to go forward with that decision? Automatically, at least from where I'm standing and using the systems and the models around decision making, that's a clear no, because you cannot have benefits, costs outweighing the benefits by 20%. That's a clear no. You always have to ensure that you minimize the risks, you maximize the benefits. So that's what I look at. So any decision that I'm making at personal level or at societal level, national level, I have to make sure that benefits always should outweigh the costs. So that's what prompts me to keep doing the work that I'm doing around community service, around advocacy. And when you're looking at advocacy, something that, like you mentioned, if you don't have allies, by allies I mean the people who align with your work and your interests, if you don't have those, the idea becomes a bit difficult to implement, especially if that idea is to be implemented at national level. Personal level, that's okay, because it's just you. I mean, you don't have to rely on the second person to have that idea implemented. Be that as it may, all I know is for any idea, any vision to thrive, it needs the input of external stakeholders. Let's also look at this platform that you have established, discussing a number of issues, pertinent issues. Now imagine if all the interviewees or the guests said, I don't think that's the right platform for us to come through and air our views. Or you thought that, for me to just get the word out there, I just need to have a monologue. I just need to be talking to people without having external stakeholders to come on board to discuss these issues, to make it more dynamic and interesting. So you get to find that space. So point is, every vision requires the input of external stakeholders, but these external stakeholders needs to align with the interests of the vision. So any person or any stakeholder that does not align with the interests of the vision, they have little positive things to contribute to that vision, and they will slow you down. So personally and at institutional level, we always try to cut down on the kind of stakeholders that we are involving, especially those whose interests are not aligned with ours. So as we grow in this community service work, advocacy service work, we also have to develop the grace, like you put it, to identify correct stakeholders or allies. Because charity work, community service, or advocacy is very expensive. It's very expensive, especially when you're just starting off. When you're starting off, you need to inject personal resources, capital, personal time, capital. The human capital itself, you need to convince people to come on board, even if they will not be getting any form of financial benefits or incentives. So there's a lot of work that goes on. That's why the grace is very important, and the direction where you're going should always be clearly defined, because you cannot convince someone to come on board when the vision is not so clear. You need to have a clear vision. Okay, colleagues, this is where we want to go. We want to achieve A, B, C, D, and D. These are the indicators to ensure that we are on track. We'll be on the lookout for the following key issues. Should we see that these things are not working out, please let's review and make corrections as we move. The secret is in moving forward. So that's what always comes to mind. That's what always keeps me going forward, to say if VSI succeeds, because August, we're clocking 8 years now. So if I have heavily invested in VSI for 8 years now, what are the direct benefits to community that we have scored? What are they? We list them. We've got a number of success stories out there. But personally, what positive impact has VSI had on my personal development? The list is quite long. So the question now is VSI serving its intended purpose? The answer is yes. Has it positively benefited the beneficiaries or community at large? The answer is yes. Has it personally benefited me as the founder or the vision carrier? The answer is yes. Has it benefited the members that are serving to advance the mandate of the institution? The answer is yes. A number of success stories. So when we have systems that are shooting in the same direction or pulling in the same direction, I think efficiency and effectiveness is realized at the end of the day. So we can only pray and hope that before 2030, our vision is realized and we're able to expand the horizon and to expand the scope of the institution. By the time we are somewhere 60, 80 years of age, we want to see the VSI that we started realize its full potential. Remember, visions are like just human growth stages, obeying the human growth stages. The vision when it's in its infancy, 8 years old, 10 years old, expect it to behave like a 10-year-old. Don't expect it to behave like a 26-year-old adult, So give the vision some time to grow and grow with it with the grace that it deserves. So that is what has been our driving force, and that's what we are trying to achieve at the end of the day. Thank you.
I love that very lengthy explanation. So it also explains some of the very important keys that I just want us to dive into, and it's just going to transition us to my next question, which is, what are the costs in terms of challenges that you face? Because you really did talk about the costs and benefits, and mostly benefits should outweigh the cost. And I'm sure you've been in situations where the cost was higher than the benefit, and maybe you had to let go of a specific program or initiative you were focusing on because of that. So it's almost 8 years. What are some of the major costs or challenges you have faced over the past 7 years and a half to be where you are right now?
Oh, great. No, thank you. So the costs are always identified when you conduct your SWOT analysis, and the costs are under the column for threats. So yes, the strengths we have talked about, the strengths that the institution has. Again, the weaknesses can also be attributed to the threats or the costs. We talked about the opportunities that we have. So some of the bigger or the most pronounced costs to any non-partisan, non-governmental, non-profit organization is the political environment. So there are times when your work, if especially your key stakeholder is a political figure, there are times when your work can be mistaken for political for a political activity. And you know how it is, political activities, they are one-sided. You cannot have one political party campaigning for the other political party. So what that now means is, if your work is painted political, it loses its nationwide coverage mandate, because then the perceived interest would be you advancing the political agenda. So there are a number of initiatives that were brought forward by our members, but they had the political lens to that effect. And because of our stance of being non-partisan, non-governmental, not for profit, we had to let go of those ideas. They were very progressive ideas, but they were not advancing our mandate. They were advancing the political mandate. And you can agree with me that between 2016 and 2021, the environment was not so good in terms of freedom of speech, freedom of expression, among others, but it was heavily characterized by political moves. So anything that everyone is doing or anyone is doing, to some extent, before someone looks at the actual result, the actual lens, the actual objective of that idea, they would first of all look at it from a political lens. They will go like, oh, okay, so you're working with the government and the government is doing like this. So what that meant was, if you went ahead with the idea, you would risk not serving the people that are in an area which is not politically favored by the political party that you are alleged to be serving. I can give an example of, if Chiwombo belongs to the Patriotic Front and Chisamba belongs to the United Party for National Development, UPND, your work will only be limited in the PF section, because that's how people have painted your programs or your activities. If you take them that side, for example, if you had the minister or the political figure flagging off your activities in one area, you want to replicate that model in another area where there's not political alignment to that effect, you will not be welcomed. You go like, no, you belong to the other camp. Why are you here? Are you here to steal intelligence? Are you here to, that kind of thinking is what always discourages us to take up any idea or any program that has a political motive behind it. Yes, the money is there, and if we had taken up those activities, the kind of infrastructure would have built, like the kind of visions we would have realized, would have done it sooner than wait for 2030. But when you have such activities or such a boost, I think it has short legs. You will not go far from it. 2021, there's change in government. Then now they start targeting the people that acquired certain public privileges using public resources. You can be targeted in general. So if you have a highly political activity, if there's change in government or change in political party in administration, you can easily be targeted. And when you're targeted, your mandate is distorted. So you have to be very careful with what kind of activities you bring on board, and make sure that they're just very neutral. Our allegiance is to the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia. What the Constitution says we should do is what we will do. If the Constitution says protect and defend the rights of people, we shall do that. If the Constitution says uphold the national values and principles, we shall do that. At least we have a neutral position on everything. So safe to say, we always work with the government of the day. By government of the day, we know that Zambia is the only government that Zambia will ever have. The political party in charge of managing national affairs and resources, they usually come and go. But our objectives are super aligned with the national development plans and the global goals, sustainable development goals. So we've had those costs, those challenges in the recent past to balance the political agenda with our vision or with our activities. So we have successfully cut down a number of them, and here we are. We smoothly transitioned into the next phase of governance, which we end this year. And we've had no problems. No one has targeted us. No, because we were working with the previous administration. No. We were not working with the previous political party. We were working with the previous people that were responsible for national affairs. At the end of the day, we are serving one Zambia, one nation. So that is one. Then the second part is there are a number of challenges that are associated, but of course the benefits are more. But the number of challenges that are associated to the kind of model we implement in terms of the governance model. You see, because our target is the student populace and the people that in a way manage the organizational activities, 90% of them, they are students. So that now has, in as much as it has greater benefits on resource mobilization, the will of the person, because they want to grow within an organization. What happens when they graduate? A vacancy is created, and that vacancy is nearly projected on an annual basis because people are graduating every year. Unless someone joins VSI when they're in their second year, we are guaranteed that they will stay with us until they are done with their academic coursework. But even when they do, they don't really have to show up as they were when they were more when they had more time in university, when they were in university. This time around, they have taken up other roles, administrative roles. So if you go for a meeting at 10 hours on Wednesday, it's not practical because this person is, yes, still a member, yes, still in the executive support unit, but they just can't show up when you need them to show up. Then, so what do? You need to readjust the focus and the thing. So we've had a number of good people, a number of gallant soldiers that have transitioned into the professional field, and the others are posted in Chisamba, Mazabuka, across the nation, But again, the model itself is alive to that fact. So we always have someone on standby, to cushion that pressure. That is why power or authority to manage the affairs of the organization is not centralized when it comes to VSI. It's difficult for you or for any person, if you have not been told that, that is the founder, that is the director, that is the assistant director, that is the programs coordinator. We've made it to be a bit blurred or difficult for people to pinpoint at leadership roles. But we've made it very, very accommodating for people to pinpoint the works that VSI is doing, And unless you are told, that you'll not be able to identify that this person is playing this role. So that's what we have established systems-wise. So there is the part of being mistaken for political motives as a cost. There is the part of losing gallant soldiers that perfectly execute their roles because they are no longer in university, or if they are still out of university, you also have to give them space to look, because they cannot be volunteers for forever, So you also have to recognize that fact. So while they are still around, it's okay, but just keep in mind that they will transition at some point, and you need someone coming forward. The third cost is on the part of, resource mobilization. We have, like I mentioned, similar to the first one, you have people that have money and they come to your organization. They say, okay, we have this amount we want to inject in now the one of your programs, but we need you to develop your objectives of the project to align with our organizational objectives. But most of the times you find that, or not maybe most of the times that we have interacted with such people that have come forward, including donors, 50%, not even 50%, maybe 30% is what contains our DNA, and 70% is primarily theirs. So we are forced to let go of that, because how can you advance another person's motives or mandate by neglecting your own? So there are times when objectives are not aligned, but what we also thrive to achieve is a 50-50 kind of a situation. But at the end of the day, that should not compromise the direction in which we are going or our mandate. So that is also a cost, because although it's both cost and benefit, but more of a cost because we get to lose out on certain opportunities. But again, if we take up those opportunities, we will not be able to live with it, that we advanced this idea that is not in line with, or that does not align with the national idea and an organizational idea. So we also, again, don't want to be targeted, so we let go of that. Yeah, although the funding could have boosted our programming, given us enough visibility and real impact in terms of infrastructure impact, but you just have to let it go and continue growing step by step. So we've got targets, we have been saving up for the kind of infrastructure that we want to build, and when the time is right, or when the donor that fits our profile comes on board, we will be able to have an accelerated plan enforced and see to it that we achieve what we want to achieve. So primarily, those are the main costs. Then the last one, more on a personal level, you see, there are some programs that are meant to, that are pre-planned, that the recurring programs. For example, Women's Day, these public holidays, those ones, you need to implement them on the actual day. So at the personal level, you may find that you've got personal commitments, and sometimes you now need to decide which commitment you need to go for, whether it's a personal commitment or whether it's a national commitment. Which one do you need to do? Or do you have room to do both not really at the same time, but maybe the same time space? Yeah. So you find that that will affect your personal standing negatively, because now you are put in a place where you have to decide, do I do VSI or do I go to the hospital for family medical review, or do I do both? So that also becomes challenging. The other challenge at personal level is you have exams, academics. Yeah, the vice president calls that they need you to have a meeting at 10 hours at cabinet office. And now you have, let's say, class at 11 hours. What do you need to do? So now it all goes down to the issue of is this class going to affect my academic scores, or can I make up for this and this? Will this meeting be able to advance? Then you make counter proposals. But the fact that it has put you in that space, in that situation, you are not immune to making a not so good decision, which can cost you. Remember, every opportunity has a cost, so you need to balance the two. So yeah, primarily those are the four key costs that I can attribute to what kind of challenges we have faced as an institution over time. But there are countless many of which most of them have had the mitigation actions instituted, so not so much of the big impact on an institution, but these ones are almost recurring, and you just need to forego what benefits this cost might bring for the good of your mandate. Thank you.
I like that a lot, and it gives me more of a breakdown of what the advocacy space is really about. And again, this year is an election year. So, I mean, the past year and a few months to come have been very political. So, I guess when you're a leader, you have to really thank God it's not your first election. And I don't think this one is very bad. But when you're a leader, you kind of have to anticipate some decisions, right? Just to make sure you don't align yourself short term to keep the long term goal, if I'm correct.
Yes, perfectly put.
When you look back at your work in general, beyond the organization that you're leading, you talked about you moving from communication to business administration, but specifically on policy. What led that transition?
All right. So, communication is a cross-cutting discipline, and specifically information technology. It's a cross-cutting discipline. But when I'm looking at personal development and the kind of influence that I need to make in a society or at personal level as well, I needed to understand what public administration is. How do governments function? What kind of principles that govern this space? Because for me to effectively conduct my advocacy business, I need to understand the systems, and I think that should be the primary step that any advocate needs to take. You need to understand what you are up against or what you are supporting. So, failure to which you make a lot of mistakes which can be avoided. For example, if you are not involved at agenda setting stage of any public policy, it becomes very difficult for you to influence the outcomes of that policy because you are not there in the agenda setting stage, the policy development life cycle. So if you want to make positive contribution to any public policy, social policy, you have to find yourself a seat at the agenda setting stage. That is where the real influence is. When the policy is enforced or put into action, it becomes a whole different situation because now you're looking at the efficacy, you are looking at the effectiveness of this policy, meaning it's already implemented. And for policies, they've got a lifespan of 5 years. So meaning the next policy review will be after 2 years it's implemented. But will you have that 2 years to influence that policy? But if you influence the objectives of that policy, you make your interests clear, you make your submissions, I think that one is more meaningful. The next thing that you now be looking at the implementation side of things. So to understand all this, one needs to have training in public administration. Public administration is very broad. It's got a number of ideas, principles that can govern your advocacy work well. If you don't have the public policy or public administration training, personally, I did it in China, so it's an international master of public administration. It looks at not only at the ways the Zambian system functions, it's just international governance structures, So I know what kind of systems, public administration systems the United States is using. what Russia is using, China is using. But now how best, if I have to advance an opinion or advance a certain program, I have to make sure that I align with their national interests through their foreign policy, So when you get that training, it gives you an idea of what the do's and don'ts. And if you go left, this is what will happen. If you go right, this is what will happen. Then you have to decide. So it's the interest really, and the idea of where I wanted to be long term. Because I know communications, yes, while it can still be an evolving discipline, but there's not so much new developments that can ever occur in the communications space, apart from innovation, how we communicate. So it's just about input, medium, output. That's just what communication is about. But for public policy, it also takes the similar approach, but this time around, because public policies or public administration is governed by dynamic problems, meaning every problem will have a unique solution set that needs to be applied. But for communication, that you need to be clear, you need to be brief, you need to be, those communication principles, So those ones they're fixed, they are standard. But for public, so I just thought maybe if I maintained the communications, information and communications technologies skill set and standpoint, with of course minimal improvements over time, but if I maintain that and then transitioned to a whole different social science, in this case public administration, which looks at governance in general, which is very dynamic, I would be doing myself a great favor in terms of both professional and personal development. So that was the transition. Exactly the question that you have asked. That's the question that the professors who were interviewing me for admission into the School of Public Policy asked me to say, but why the sudden shift? I told them point blank to say, you know what? I know communication follows standardized procedures and it's standard, and in as much as there is little growth but constant growth in this field, I think there is more growth and dynamic growth in the public administration sector. So that's why I want to do this. Yeah, trust me, the journalist who practiced journalism, let's say in 2015, and the one that is practicing journalism now, they are using the similar journalism principles, But the person who practiced public policy formulation in 2014 and the one that is practicing it now, they are on a different level. The one in 2014 may be a bit behind because then the principles that were used are very different from the principles that are used now. The reason is simple. Public policy serves the demand of social problems, because public policy exists to eliminate or to address social problems. Because public policy, these are government programs and actions that are directed towards eradicating social problems to improve the well-being of people. So whenever there is policy in place, just know that there is an existing problem. Look at the gender-based violence policy, look at the child protection policies. Nearly all the laws that exist, they exist to maintain peace and order, but ultimately they exist to eradicate or to mitigate certain risks or to prevent certain things from happening because of the projection. So from that idea and understanding, you're able to tell that this is a dynamic discipline. And for you to be relevant in the space, you need to continue improving your knowledge base in this case. So it also now puts you on top of your game. You know that if I don't understand the geopolitical tensions at an international stage and how that is affecting our local operations and all that, I'll have little to contribute to. I'm sure yesterday I published a short write-up on just to give my voice, a neutral voice on what's going on. I'm sure you are aware that there's an amendment to Zambia's penal code. Yeah, the criminal. Huh?
It has to be one of my favorite amendments.
It has to be. So now, if in fact I need to push that right up to LinkedIn so that where we are connected, you're able to see it. So what I
talk more
offered
about it.
Yeah,
let's dive into it.
Yeah. So you know how it is. My position is not that the inclusion to the list of non-bailable offenses, the inclusion of incest, destruction to public property or natural resources, to rape and defilement, that inclusion is okay. Because for anything, like I mentioned, for anything to make it to the agenda for policy agenda setting, it would have undergone a number of consultations, and it follows some sort of precedence. For anything to be included into policy, just know that it's a problem or it's a potential problem. We may not realize the benefits of including incest, rape, and defilement as non-bailable offenses. We may not realize the benefits now, but at least, policy or law should be very proactive. It's something that it draws from the lessons, history, the precedents, but again, it also counters the future risks to the victims or to the people that law or that objective will benefit. So for me, when I'm giving, that's why I like to take the position of public policy analysts. Analysts do not have a one-sided opinion or submission. We are always comparing to say, okay, remember what I talked about? So we are driven by the cost-benefit analysis model. So you now look at, so now answering the same question why I ventured into public policy is because of you have to remain relevant to the conversation, like this same one that we are having. So now my position there is, if this is bad law, then it is injustice by design. But if this is good law, then this is one of the beautiful laws that Zambia has ever seen, and it will promote social benefit ultimately. So when people are enacting laws, when they are looking at the law that serves community interest up to 80%, they automatically pass it because the benefits outweigh the costs, And now what we now need to do from the space, instead, it's already a law. And for it to undergo review and for it to be repealed, it will take us another 5 years. Look at the Cybersecurity and Crimes Act. Before they were separated, They were enacted when? In 2021. They were only got separated in 2023. So you are guaranteed that the next 24 months you just be talking. But instead of talking, what is it that you need to do? So I'm encouraging people to step up their awareness, to put on the awareness boots. You guys who are in the legal fraternity, you understand the law well, come up with interventions, awareness raising interventions that will calm the situation out there, because as it stands, the people that are vocal about it are against the law. And you know how that is, how that plays out. Those people have got people that follow them, and that will be a position of nearly thousands, many out there. The only thing that they're thinking about is men are disadvantaged by this development. But we have to go a step further to say what kind of men, which category of men is the disadvantaged. You people in the legal fraternity, you also now need to go a step further to say, no, you know what, guys, before the rape case is admitted into the courts of law, or before anything else like this happens, there should be investigation. These are the steps that the police or the law enforcement agencies take to investigate before they can even move to arrest. So what you and me should now be focused on is, and that is now my position, let us strengthen the institutions that are charged with the law enforcement. especially at investigation stage. We have heard the president every now and again talk about investigate before you arrest. So our beef, for lack of better terms, or our problem or our concern should not be that those provisions, the provision is amended by the inclusion of the items to the criminal offences list. The concern should be, are the systems adequate, or are they strengthened? Are they efficient enough to ensure that there is effective implementation of the law, the provisions that has been the provisions that have been included in the penal code? So let us focus our energy on systems strengthening for law enforcement agencies. Yes, we know Zambia Police Service is very outdated when it comes to criminal investigations compared to what other countries are applying. So what then do we need to do? Do we just need to shoot down Zambia Police Service for not blaming them for not being the adult that we want them to be? The answer is no. What we should do as a proactive, independent citizens is that, number one, have a meeting. Very soon you'll see us having a meeting with the IG. Have a meeting with the IG. Trust me, these guys already know what the problems are. But that meeting needs to give you a clear understanding of what the real problem is in the police service or in these law enforcement agencies when it comes to investigation. Why are they failing to investigate, and why do they act the way they act? So with the public policy understanding, you already know that government just doesn't operate in isolation, or they just doesn't act anyhow. They follow a set of standard guidelines that exist, and that should be your primary interest. So now, when you ask Zambia Police to say, we have heard that you are facing these problems, but is this the correct picture of the problems that you are facing? Let them highlight the kind of problems. Trust me, anyone who has a problem with something always has a solution to that something. So you also now ask them to say, what solutions do you think are adequate to mitigating this risk or to addressing this problem? They will tell you to say, what we need is the persistent problem that is the problem that has persisted over time. That is policy financing. What we need is just money. We need money for forensics departments to be equipped with ABCD, and they'll give you a budget. Then you ask them to say, what from this money, how much do you think you have raised over time, or what efforts have you instituted to ensure that you address some of these problems? They will tell you to say, in 2021 we submitted this, but we were only given a small budget like this. But to balance off, you know how it is, institutions are governed just like homes. You cannot have a family of 20 people and still earning 1,000 kwacha and expect them to have the basic nutritional needs met, So they also give you that idea to say, no, as an institution, law enforcement agents, we've got priorities, and our priorities lie in this and this and this. And when you are talking about priorities, remember, we're talking about cost-benefit analysis to say, when we place resources in this priority, is it going to serve public good? It will tell you to say, okay, it's going to serve public good, and our budget is ABC. Then, so they will tell you to say, we've got budget issues to that effect. Then you ask them to say, have you tried to look outwards? Does the law allow you to look outwards beyond the Treasury Authority, beyond the central bank itself, beyond the Ministry of Finance? Does the government allow you, or your guidelines or the laws allow you to look outwards for institutional programs financing? Then they will tell you to say, being an internal security organ or home affairs, of course we cannot get money from Bill Gates, because that will automatically, in a way, be perceived as something else, so we are limited to our options of both foreign and domestic resource mobilization in terms of money to finance our policies. So they will tell you, and that is typical of government. Any government institution they will give you the breakdown of what I've given you. But now you, as a person that is concerned about that problem and you want to provide a solution, because that's what good advocates do. we bring about social change by interrogating our systems and propose issues that or solutions that benefit the entire society ultimately. So now, what is it that you can do, you as yourself? Now that's when you can mobilize money for capacity building for an institution. For example, you can say, okay, we will mobilize money from the United States Embassy in Zambia. We will apply for a grant to build capacity in the law enforcement agencies in this particular area. And this, trust me, for donor companies, for organizations that depend on donor funding, this is an excellent opportunity for people to start doing capacity building. So capacity building at government agencies level, at personal level, at institutional level, there's a lot of activities that we can formulate to that effect. So now you tell them to say, would you be open to an idea of us mobilizing resources and build capacity and mobilize machinery that can help you address this challenge, or that can make you efficient and effective in the way you administer justice or administer the implementation or how you enforce the law. They will tell you to say that's a welcome move. So that's already a green light to you. The next thing that you should walk out of that meeting with is a letter of introduction from the Minister of Home Affairs and Internal Security or from the Inspector General of Police, saying we are introducing the Visionary Students Initiative to you as a partner in raising awareness on the recent development in the criminal justice system, ABC and very short and on point. A concept note can be developed out of that letter of introduction. Make sure that it is validated by the people that we're trying to serve, in this case law enforcement agencies, to avoid future misunderstandings and all that. Then that's how you move. That's how you influence positive policy change. So meaning you are going to be an authority in that area to raise awareness. So now the conversation will no longer be about men are targeted by this law, and if men are targeted by this law, there will be resistance, and if there will be the resistance, there will be it will counterproductive productivity in men. So now, and when it counters productivity in men, we are about to see a situation where hate is spread instead of national unity. So now people will be, I'm sure you have seen the conversation out there. They're saying, don't give a lift to a woman you don't know, because you may never know if they, at the end of the ride, they go to the police station to say this man wanted to rape me. That kind of a situation. So what are you creating? You're creating division within yourselves. Narratives can create and narratives can build. So with that understanding of the side of communication, how you channel out information, the understanding of how public administration works, trust me, you'll make a powerful advocate. So I've dwelt so much on the examples, but there's so much we can explain to that. But wrapping up that or sealing it up with this thought, if you cannot pursue public administration, or any field that looks at public administration, public management, on your team, make sure you have someone with that understanding, because that's the sole purpose of creating teams. Teams are created not because we are all of the same profession. Remember what they say, if two people in one establishment can do the similar or same things, one of them is useless. So teams are created because we bring on board different expertise. You have me from the information communication side of things, as well as public policy. I need a legal mind, someone from the legal fraternity. I need someone from the health fraternity. I need someone from the human rights sort of fraternity, just to make sure that whatever conversation that we're advancing, it's all inclusive, So primarily, that's what motivated the transition from not really completely from communications to public administration, but just to have to be relevant to the space. For example, you've seen I didn't need a script or to do research. But before answering your question, to say, no, Aka, I reserve my ruling for this. I reserve my comments for this. I'll get back to you. No. It's because it's something that I've always practiced. Yeah, I think that's the importance of education, and education done with passion. Thank you.
You know what? This is the only time, actually, I publicly want to voice my opinion on something.
Yeah.
And, like, it's the one time I have no fear, even if it comes to bite me in the future. I think I have questions, right?
Yeah.
I love how you've broken it down, honestly. Even I am understanding it at a very different level. But on a personal opinion, we have all seen how, and for me, I just focus on the rape and
defilement.
Yes, for me, I'll focus on that because everything else is valid. Like if someone steals, and that's the thing where everybody is just focusing on those two, but no one is focusing on the others. Like if someone distracts our minerals, if someone steals public property like medicine, that should be a bailable offense. You are stealing.
You are stealing.
The government, and somebody is in need of that medicine.
Yeah.
Why should we bail you out when you are taking life? You know what I mean? When you are taking resources from the country, that could build more schools. So now, for me, it's, guys, these things have been happening, and you're focusing on the two things that have been mainly disregarded in society. Of course, when you say, oh my goodness, a child was raped, and 6 months baby was raped. You see comments on Facebook. The next day, another story has popped up. The other day, the person that was accused gets bailed out. And they go back to the community and they terrorize the community. When we talk about, oh no, men are being targeted, why are you even putting yourself in that category? Like,
thank you.
How? Like, guys, no. I am more worried of the men that don't do these things.
Oh yeah.
Putting themselves in this category. Like, how did we get to a point where you are associating yourself with people that abduct, raped women and children? Why are you worried?
Why are you worried? That's a good question.
Worried? No, guys, let's be honest. We're not targeting all men. We have amazing men in society. We have examples of that. You're an example of that. I experience amazing men in society, but we also have men, and this is, and you know what? Maybe it also happens to male children, right? But the most people affected are women and girls.
Yes.
We have people that are targeting young women and girls, and the streets are not safe for our children, our sisters, our mothers. Why do you have to now personalize it and say, I will not give a woman a lift? Did we say it's you?
See?
Did the government say, no, you know what, Mr. Shani, we are targeting you. When you give her a lift, when you are a helpful person in society, this person will actually go to the police and say they raped you. Do you think women are vindictive? Like, you know, if you know, do you know how much it takes for a woman to go to the police and report? Who do you think bails out the men after reporting them or takes back their words? It's the women. I also think it's not even a men thing, it's also a women thing.
Yes.
Because they take back their word. They say, no, it's fine, I'll drop the cases. No, we're criminalizing it. You can't go back and take back your word after you reported your husband for raping your child. No, after you him for raping your child. So it's not a men thing. It's a societal problem. It's a societal problem. This has been a societal problem because both parties have been playing roles. One does one act, the other reports, and the other say, no, it was probably the child's fault. So we are going to take it back. So for me, I'm very passionate about it, right? Because I think that we should create an environment that is safe for women and children. Of course, we're not targeting men. We believe men are good people. What do you mean? What do you mean? Why?
Yeah.
For me, I'm even offended. Like, why even? The good thing is none of the men closest to me have gone to like. I have not vocalized speaking about it, and whoever listens to this podcast is going to say, I guess the first time Aka has said something so passionately. I just want to say, like, as a young man or as a man, the fact that you are putting yourself in that problem, when we know that we are targeting a specific number of people in society that are actually doing this act, should make you ask a question. Why am I offended? Why am I worried? Is it a thought you are thinking of doing? Because of course, brother, if you're thinking of doing it, we're glad you won't be bailed out. We don't want you
That's
to
true.
our future children, our sisters, our cousins, our mothers, and ourselves. As women, we don't want you. And if you're a woman and you are asking, oh my goodness, why are we targeting men? In the future, if you're my age or if you're older, why have you been protecting people that have been doing that to other children and other women? Why are you planning of creating a society that protects men that instigate such stuff or do that action? Why? The real question is, if you're not the target audience, why are you worried?
Why are you worried? Exactly. Yeah.
I had to say, why are you guys worried? This should be like any other law that they have passed the past few months. We all look at it and move on. And you know what? I makes me want to go back into advocacy. But anyway.
No, you should. It's a very interesting space, and it's good. Yeah.
I don't think I have the capacity, because you see how passionate I got. I'm just like, guys, this is the most logical thing. We should all be dancing around the fire.
Yeah. We should all be dancing.
It's the one law that I'm so interested in, and I'm shaking everybody's hand. It's like when they passed the Education Act, right? They pass. I know they're doing something about making it free education law, right? We should shake their hand, like, because we know that the ripple effect will be good. So I don't think the cost outweighs the benefit on this law. On any
no.
Why are we just focusing on the ones that have to do with women and forgetting everybody else? Or every other law that has been passed. So I think the benefit is 80% towards the cost. And
I agree with you.
I'm glad we're getting into this. I can't wait, Lord. But anyway.
No, please, let's get to that part.
So and also talking to you is, I have seen how well articulated you have been, and it also makes a lot of sense why you have decided to transition. And I think anybody that comes from communication and diverse in something else is, you now have already harnessed the skill of how to communicate, and then you get to pick a specific frame of how you want to do that, which is something I admire so much. If somebody, I'm always big, my work is always on employment, transition, career, and entrepreneurship. And I think transition is like one of the hardest things, because you're thinking, I'm going through a transition right now, because you're thinking, I already have something good. What if I'm going to something bad? Like, what if I have to go in to start from scratch? Like, what does that really mean for me? What advice would you give somebody that wants to transition careers?
All right. So, and I think it all goes back to how market relevant the next big thing is to you and to the society. If you think what you are transitioning to will make you more productive and efficient, then go for it. But if you feel it's going to slow you down or doing it just for title, I think you need to reconsider that decision. An example would be if you are from let's say the mining sector, and you're passionate about minerals development, mining and minerals development, then that is your passion. Like, this is all you wanted to be a miner. Then you see that, I think lawyers are fancy people. They look nice in their wigs, in their gowns and all. And I have the money to pursue a degree in law or a master's in law. I think let me go for it. Then you're just doing it because it's fancy. But you have to understand one thing. Every move that you make in life is a calculated move, and it should speak to your goals. It should positively contribute to you realizing the goals, because it's an investment. Like we always say, for every investment, there should be what we call a return on investment, ROI. So you have to ask yourself this question to say, this investment that I'm making into this transition, be it a professional transition, academic transition, personal transition, from single to married, from unemployed to employed, from mining to law. This transition that I'm making, what's my ROI? What's my return on investment in this? And how long will it take me to realize this return on this particular investment? So there, in a transition, there are a number of questions you need to ask. Number one, yourself, and answer them yourself, and do your cost benefit analysis at personal stage. What benefit will this bring to my career? Then once you have your results, then now you can subject them to external validation. Oh, my friend, okay, you've seen me do this and this and this and this, and I think me transitioning into this field to the next discipline would serve me great. Yeah, like this. You give them your reasons for doing so, and how it will benefit you and how it will cost you. Then you have to be very open-minded. The moment you subject a certain decision or opinion to an external validation, you have given up your autonomy to what we call to maintaining that decision as your own, because now you only retain about 50% stake into the implementation of that decision. So the moment you ask someone to say, what do you think about this? You have to be very open-minded to hear what they have to say. If they side with you, good for you. If they challenge your thoughts to, as we call it, positive criticism, that is also okay. But again, you have to be wise enough to ensure that you filter out the noise in their feedback. So those are just the two key things that you need to do. You have to, first and foremost, understand the reason why you need to make that transition, and to what extent will it benefit you. And the second thing, you have to assess the return on investment, the impact that return on investment will have on you. For example, you were saying you want to transition from mines and minerals development, because this is something that you're passionate about, to the law. You want to become a lawyer, and your conviction in this case would be not just about title or how fancy it is, because that will not give you any return on investment, but the idea, the rationale, the driving force should be that you want to participate in legislation that governs or that looks at mines and minerals development, because this is a new kid on the block. Mines and minerals development is gaining traction and a lot of attention, and there's so much work you can do in that regard. So you will now say, I want to become a lawyer to build on my interests as a minerals and mines and minerals development expert, to do the following activities. For example, consultancy in training at artisanal miners or small scale miners in maybe, let's say, gold processing. And if I have the capacity to interpret the law or to package or to make those miners align, maybe assisting them to apply for mining licenses. In return, if Cavendish University or Unilas is charging me 400,000 for this course for 18 months, in the next 18 months, I have to make double that amount. You have to be very focused and very deliberate about it. How am I going to gain the 900,000 or 1 million back in 18 months? You now need to come up with programs, consultancy programs, saying if I manage to train 40,000 or 4,000 miners, each miner paying this particular amount, within 18 months, I should be able to get the 1 million target that I've set for myself. So the motive behind the transition is very important. The honest feedback within yourself is also very important. The assessment of the return on investment when you're making that transition is equally important. The ability to maintain an open mindset is also a skill that you need to uphold or to accumulate, because it's not easy. Sometimes certain decisions will challenge your thoughts, and they will either elevate your thinking or pull you down. It just depends on how you govern yourself. Emotional intelligence is also very good and important in that respect. So transition does not happen by, I don't know if we can say by surprise, but it should be a calculated move. It should be something, a thought out idea. And it should be something that you are willing to live with. It's willing to live with should it go south. But in as much as we can promote the idea of cost-benefit analysis and everything, sometimes plans don't go according to the way you wanted them to. There is the health complications that come in. In fact, let me just say bills that come in. They are what we call unintended consequences, things that we didn't even see, because society is a dynamic space. It's just not, things just don't always go according to how they are planned. That's why you need to be reviewing your ideas. So should such happen, should a war erupt to distract or to disrupt my learning experience, what should I do then? Then you also maintain that mindset to say, in as much as I want to realize these targets A, B, C, and D, the opposite could also be true. In an event where I don't realize it, how am I going to live with it? You see? So another example is how people always start their education journey thinking that when they graduate, people will be all over them. So employers, because of good grades, employers will be all over you. Every time you apply, you're expected to be accepted and to make positive contribution to that institution. But what if they don't accept you? What if after graduation you stay close to 24 months without any formal employment, any formal contract to that effect? What happens then? Meaning you'll be delayed by 24 months from your already set out timelines, but how do you then deal with that? So when you're making a decision, especially to transition, you have to factor in all sorts of possibilities of it working, it not working out. But we always have to pray that it always works out. If at all it doesn't work out, let the impact be so minimal that it can't be felt. So that's what we usually do. So this transition, managing transition, is something that is difficult. It's not as easy as I'm explaining it, because emotions are involved, resources are involved, people are involved, systems are involved. So now, how do you then navigate the two? The secret is just taking one step at a time and keeping your cool, in this case being emotionally intelligent. Although it's also not that easy, but the alternative is worse, because if you don't keep your cool, you'll be all over the place and you would have worsened the situation than it was. So we don't have any other option but to be emotionally intelligent and to be very, very strategic in the way we manage the transition. So, like I mentioned, at academic level, manage the transition well. Professional level, manage the transition well. Personal level, manage your transition well. Relationship level, manage that transition well. Because failure to which the consequences are quite devastating, and they are quite worse than you making that step to take the risk to transition. Thank you.
I do like how you have broken it down from every stage and almost every scenario one would go through when they want to transition. And yeah, what advice would you give to a young person that wants to get into the advocacy space?
So you always have to worry more about the impact your actions will bring about. Always have to be concerned with where you want to be that will positively contribute to the well-being of society. Remember, advocacy has got about 3 phases. There is advocacy for the people, meaning you are speaking for them, you are their voice. There is advocacy with the people, you are carrying them along to influence that change. You go into this community, you raise awareness on their rights and privileges, then you make a decision with them and you take it up to the relevant channels or authorities. You are advocating with them. Then you also now need to understand the last part, which is advocacy by the people. You take the back seat, you put them in the front line to influence their own decisions or advocacy actions. So when you're advocating, every advocate should understand these 3 phases or these layers, categories of advocacy. You have to understand which category does this activity fall under. It's good to have, and it's important to have an understanding of how to go about all the categories. But what's important is to be very specific. You cannot employ all the 3 categories at once, or you cannot implement them all at once. But you need to be very specific to say, for me to see change. Remember, advocacy is about just change. Yeah, that improves the status quo of any situation or any environment. So you need to understand that, okay, these people in this area, I've been to a number of remote areas in Zambia. Let's take, for instance, Mulungu in Western Province, Shangombo. You get to ask yourself to say, what do these people really need? Oh, okay, there's insufficient flow of water. Okay, what do we need? Do we need to drill boreholes or the sinking holes? The sinking wells. You get to make an assessment, but that assessment needs to be done with the people. And because you are an expert and you've got the people that are directly impacted by that problem, it's only fair you employ the with type of advocacy strategy. You do your own technical work, you sell the idea to them, the 2 of you make up a decision or an action point going forward, then you take it up. And that way, it's the most effective type of advocacy, because you're not speaking as an individual, but you are speaking as a collective. And when duty bearers see you, the person who understands the problem inside out, and the people that are affected by the problem, they'll go like, oh, okay, this is good. the duty bearer will be able to resonate with you because that person is a technocrat as well. But again, the duty bearer will be able to reason with the people because they are in that position to serve the needs of the people and to better their livelihood, So you get to get some form of positive feedback and political will, as it were. So that is the kind of space. So if you are trying to venture into advocacy, identify yourself as such. Know when to advocate for the people, with the people, and know when to let the advocacy action be led by the people themselves. Your job is to influence them, to make them aware, and to let them develop their own community-based interventions or solutions, and let them channel that to the relevant authority without you even being in the picture. So it shouldn't be VSI influenced this decision, but it should be the community of the Kanakantapa people resolved that they needed to have this and this and this, and they engaged the councillor in that ward, and now they have a borehole. But when someone starts interrogating the process, okay, how did they come up with this? That's when now your picture will come, because you're already seated in the backseat. Remember, you're still on the bus, but you're not the driver. You're just in the backseat to say, oh, okay, who came up with this idea? Who trained these people to do social accountability? Who trained people to do community scorecards and all that stuff? So then that becomes the case. So identify yourself as such, depending on the kind of social problem that requires your advocacy efforts. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that advice and the in-depth explanation on the different aspects we've talked about. I think that you've left me wondering, and in Awi, for people that do advocacy work, because sometimes we think it's easy. I know I was in this space, and I know it's not easy. But then I also think that you guys make it look so effortless, and it's such an honor to be part of the people, and thanks for indulging me on that other issue. It's such an
problem.
To kind of break stuff and put them back together, just to have an understanding of where it's coming from, where we are, and what we're trying to achieve as a community and the society and the world at large. With that, I would like to give you, Matthew, an opportunity to ask me a question or two.
Great. No, thank you so much. And it's a unique one where you get to interview the interviewer. It's an interesting way of doing things, and it's inclusive, and it's smart to a larger extent. Yeah. So the question is, how can you, in fact, do you choose, or do you have a type of guests that come to the show, or the people that you would want to voice out on a particular issues on your show? By that I mean, do you interview people from different backgrounds, for example, a politician and an expert in any field? How do you navigate such temptation of not getting mixed up in the political crossfire? So the question is, what's your tastes of the kind of guests that come to the show, and do you have certain biases towards certain guests? Are you choosy? Thank you.
I am picky.
Yeah.
I have to admit, like, point blank, I think even with my team, I have grown to become the most picky person and very detail oriented. When the podcast started, and the whole purpose of the podcast is to inspire young people with conversations that would help them invest in themselves or help them with a transition or start up a business. So it's just to inspire people, or young people to be specific. To answer your question, in the beginning I wasn't very picky. We could get anybody we can, because it's a weekly podcast, and we are trying to always have a guest on the weekend, every week anyway. So over time, we have created a criteria of the type of people we want on the podcast. So even in the background, when the team is working on who to bring on the podcast, that person has to meet the criteria. And they also have to meet our overall vision and our overall goal, which is this person going to inspire? Is this person going to help? Or is this conversation going to help somebody with a transition? Is this conversation going to bring an understanding when it comes to a specific topic? So over the years, that has gotten more clear. And in this season we're in, I am more into conversations that have to do with technology, entrepreneurship, career transition, career development, and my guilty pleasure, anything I like.
Oh yeah.
So if I like something, I'll do it. Like most of, and I also think that to keep me going, there's also the part where we're gonna have conversations that to just indulge me. Like, oh my goodness, I have been wanting to do this, and I'm like, I want that guest. And do you have a specific reason you want that guest? No, but I want that guest. I'll make sure it's a good conversation. So there's also that element, which is, it's my podcast. We have a team behind the scene, but to keep me going and motivated as a guest, I have to make sure I enjoy the conversations. So I bring my friends on, and we talk about different topics. And again, it's so much fun that I bring everybody else, which is an important thing. So yes, I have had politicians, experts in different fields, and I think one of my recent episodes was with Dr. Doris Leah, and everybody keeps talking about it. And I'm like, wow, yes. And she's such a lovely woman, and I learned so much from her, even from the sidelines, because she has so much worth of wisdom, and she believes she hasn't reached her peak yet, but every career has a peak, and she keeps transitioning. So she's also a very good example of somebody that knows how to transition and let go of stuff. So, and as a young woman, half her age, I'm thinking, this is all I need to learn from somebody, and I'm so grateful for that, especially for a woman. For your second question, my main goal also as a person is to have people I enjoy having conversations with. So I over the past 2 years, I haven't partnered with any organization to kind of have specific topics spoken. So I'm the only person that actually influences the podcast. Like, I have a team in the background that does everything else, but I am the one that gets to say, oh no, we're not doing that. And I think that has been very important for me. It does come at a cost. But I do like the benefit of being able to control what my platform releases and what we stand for as a platform. I'm hoping I could still do that. I think it's one of my motivations to always work hard, is to have the ability to control what my podcast is about. And that the cost is also, it means the growth is slower, which is something I'm very much okay with. And I have gotten so many opportunities of, if you do this, we would sponsor your podcast. I know the benefit, but it wasn't just the right fit. I think I've had so many conversations, and I always tell people that, hey guys, I still want to be in charge. I still want to have control over the type of conversation this platform has. And I know it's a very big platform. I know it has grown so much. So for me, it's been very important to just keep that, right? it's
Yeah.
I think that if I would sell the podcast, or if I would let go of it, not that I'm not open to partnerships. We have pillars, we have ways we'd like to partner up, we have institutions that would be ideal for partnerships, because these institutions are also pursuing what we're pursuing, is to inspire young people, is to make education and information and opportunities available to everybody, is to see how best young people can navigate different opportunities and how they can apply for them. I am so open to partnering up with those institutions because I know that they're feeding into our vision.
Yeah.
Anything that isn't feeding into our vision now is something I wouldn't want to partner up with, because I know there's going to be a clash.
Yeah,
very
it's a
quickly.
path. Remember what we were talking about? Allies should align with your objectives, not the other way around.
True.
Yeah.
So I hope I've answered your question too.
Oh yes. And do you know what you have brought out is something that we need to normalize as a people or as individuals. You need to remember, number one, authority drives, or authority shapes how the narrative is perceived out there. And your job is, as the originator of that narrative, your job is to defend and protect it. So now, if you have so many different voices speaking into the narrative, it's diluted. That's why even in the communication space, there is the editorial policy. Editorial policy suggests that, for example, for ZNBC, you never find them giving you the title of Mr., Miss, Doctor, and all that on their lower thirds, on their subtitles or their titles. The editorial policy is you just have to lowercase or sentence case your first name and the uppercase your last name. That is the editorial policy, and that becomes standard. So any institution that doesn't have standardized policies or editorial policies is prone to a number of risks, and its time is short-lived. So I like the fact that you've put your foot down and you've dictated in a way that the manner in which the conversation needs to flow, because you are the primary person that is supposed to control the narrative. At the end of the day, remember, it also speaks to personal branding. Yeah, if the podcast fails, they will go like, Aka has failed. If the podcast has featured someone who spreads misinformation, then it counters your efforts or your progress made in the promotion of information and quality education, which inspires and entertains. So you have to be very strategic and very deliberate about the kind of, and I like it because, trust me, if you can be easily shaken, your narrative will never stand the test of time. So the ability to say no to anything, in as much as it comes at a huge cost to your vision or anything, at a nice cost, yes, at a nice
cost, guys. Yeah. Or at a nice benefit. No, at a nice benefit is all right. Yeah.
Exactly. Because trust me, if you're able to achieve your intended objectives, then that's okay. Because trust me, there's no standard formula of getting things done, especially in the social sciences space. There's always that's now the importance of your next interest, which is in technology and innovation, because innovation builds on what's existing and it provides an alternative way of doing things efficiently. You see, so if it can't work with you on the podcast or featuring on my podcast, if I cannot get 30k views, there's also another way of getting the 30k views without compromising my values and distorting my narrative, and that's okay. So I like that fact, and you have definitely answered my questions. And I like Dr. Dora is very, very an interesting person, and especially that she was once government spokesperson, so she knows how to control the narrative. She was once the Minister of Information. and broadcasting, she knows. Yeah, so kudos to that for having her feature on the show. Thank you.
And I think that, when you I've had really amazing people on the podcast, and somebody has so much influence when it's been weeks since her episodes. I think 4 weeks now. It's been 4 weeks since her episode, because we released it between Youth Day and Women's Day, between Women's Day and Youth Day. And every time I get on a call, and trust me, like, the podcast has evolved and we have really good conversation, but every time I get a call, even from a relative, they're like, "Oh my goodness, you should say hi." And I'm like, "I will." I'm like, "Okay." I'll definitely make sure I do.
Yeah, very important.
But no, like, I'm so grateful, I think, to so many women that have done so much and influenced to where I am right now. Says a lot why I'm so passionate about women and girls.
Yeah.
My last question to you, Matthews, is what do you look forward to?
All right. Basically, a better Zambia for everyone's aspirations accommodated. A better Zambia that maintains its position in the world at the global stage of being a beacon of peace. The land of works and joy. Just mainly a better Zambia that accommodates divergent views, that promotes democracy, that upholds its constitutional tenets, principles, and that just respects the rule of law. Just a better Zambia that I have to be comfortable leaving my children in and with, and just a better Zambia that has that is anchored on our national values and principles. A better Zambia that has true patriots, promotes national unity, looks at good governance and integrity. A better Zambia that speaks against injustice, that promotes justice in general, that speaks against discrimination, that promotes social justice. Just that better Zambia is one that I look forward to, because there's no place than a place we call home, Zambia. Whatever personal advancements we can ever make, if they are not speaking straight into the realization of a vision that we have as a nation, work done might be equal to zero, and we might be advancing selfish motives. So I look forward to personally also shaping myself and having skills that contribute to advancing national development agendas. I also look forward to having a team that shares the similar vision. Yes, criticism can be there, but what should drive us forward is our unity of purpose and our collective responsibility as a people that are interested to take good care of this. I'm also reflecting on the efforts made by our forefathers, the people that fought for independence. It's a better Zambia that I want to see people reflect on that and recognize the efforts and also recognize the mistakes so that we can do better as a people and young people in general. So basically, it's a better Zambia that gives praises to the Most High God as the Lord and God for its land, and is integrated. The spiritual Christian values are integrated in the way we do things. Remember what they say: the fear of the Lord is the beginning of all else that we ever imagine, including wisdom and wealth. So it's a better Zambia that I want to see respect the supremacy of God Almighty and recognizes the lordship of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Thank you.
Thank you. It's been a while since I had like such a lengthy podcast recording, and I have had And I'm asking myself, what has changed? I think it's recording at 7 that has changed. But I've had so much fun. I have learned a lot. And I have a better understanding of what happens in the background and how each role and how we all play a very vital role in society. Thank you so much, Matthews, for the work that you do. It's also such an honor on our end to have you. I'm sure our community and our audience will enjoy this conversation because it's been amazing. So again, thank you so much. And yeah.
Thank you so much for the platform and inviting me to this space. We look forward to more conversations in this regard.
Oh, of course. Definitely. And for everybody listening, I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Matthew. Follow his work and also listen to this episode. And if it's inspired you to do something different about your life or transition into a different workspace and environment, share this with somebody you know is going to get inspired by it. From us, that's goodbye. Oh, bye for now, actually. Bye.